be on the link. So we're going to go ahead and start with perfect attendance. And we're just going to do all the perfect attendance grades, beginning garden through second grade. So if your name is called, perfect attendance is where you have no absences or tardies. No absences or tardies. So for our first person, I want to call your name. You're going to come up here and stand until we're done, okay? And then I'll say it's time to go back. And if you get a certificate, you get to come over and take one thing of candy. But let's say you get more than one certificate, you only still just get one thing of candy. One certificate, one candy. I don't care how many certificates that you get. Okay? All right. Our first person to have perfect attendance is Colton Drake. Come on up, Colton. And we'll clap for everybody at the end. Come on up, Colton. We'll wait till the end. Let's just wait till everybody gets their awards, okay? Just a second. Pause and just a second. I'm going to add it. I got everything else ready to go on Dojo. I just have to add this piece. And it went away. There you go, sir. Congratulations. Shake my hand. Next up is Brenley Gant. Come on up, Brenley. There we go. Congratulations. I'm trying to multitask her. I'm sorry. Next up is Kip Kruger. Congratulations, Kip. Next up is Jake Oda. Lucas Wagerman. Next up, we have excellent attendance. Excellent attendance is for having no more than one absent or tardy during the first semester of the 2023-2024 school year. Our first student is Cara Andrews. Come on up, Cara. Let's wait till everybody. Look how many people only missed one day or had one tardy. That's exciting. It hasn't happened in a long time because of COVID. Melody Brandt. candy, so go on over and get some candy. Next up, this is a new award this year that we started, and typically I've been going to the classrooms because it's been given on a monthly basis. And this is for either academic, behavior, or creativity, and your teachers nominate you for this award. This one is from Mrs. Clark. It says, "This student works hard on her work and isn't afraid to ask for help. She also is always actively involved in large and small group instruction. Lastly, Haley Clark is a great helper." So come on up, Haley. Let's give her a round of applause. I forgot I should wait on that. This is from Mrs. Irwin. This one says, "She is always ready to learn and shows respect to all staff and students. Hayden Clark is always following the 5 R's of being Bradford's best." Come on up, Hayden. Please remember too that if you have candy, the candy needs to stay unopened until lunch. If you want to go out for lunch, you can take it if you eat your food. Okay, but you cannot eat it right now. Also, our next one goes to, from Mrs. Hart. It says, "This student is a hard-working student who enjoys helping others when he is able. I recently watched him as he helped 2 of his classmates who were struggling to put things away in a short period of time. They all worked together with smiles on their faces, and this goes to Colton Drake." Come on up, Colton. Come on up, Colton. Next up is from Mrs. Schmitz, Mrs. Tori Schmitz. "This student is a very hard worker and always goes above and beyond what is asked of her. She is very goofy and loves to make people laugh." And that goes to Hadley Evans. Come on up, Hadley. Next up is from Mrs. Ridout. "This student, because he has had determination when he was forced to write with his left hand, he never complained and always tried his best even though that was not his dominant hand." That's hard work for anybody, but a kindergarten especially. And this goes to Kason Fry. Come on up, Kason. He smashed his hand in the door. He had to write with his other hand. We're all better now though, aren't we, Kason? Next up is from Mrs. Beck. "This student has demonstrated many qualities for being a railroader. He has shown that he is responsible and rotor empowered, which has helped him make some amazing growth in the speech room. I am proud of how determined he is to do his best each and every day," and that is Hudson Hafer. Come on up, Hudson. Next up is from Mrs. Newton. "She works hard and tries her very best to listen to directions and follow them the first time. Each time she works, she takes her time to make sure her work is always her best. Sunny Peoples never hesitates to step in and help out a classmate." Sunny Peoples, come on up, please. Next is from Mrs. Royer. "This student had great behavior for the guest teachers. They both mentioned how quiet she was and how hard she worked. She was a great role model for the others in the classroom, and it's Zaylee Scarioni. Come on up, Zaylee. Next up, this student is a model student. She cares about her classmates and is always willing to help. She is doing great in her academics, and I'm very proud of her progress in reading. Keep up the great work, Lainey Snyder. Yes, Lainey Snyder. This is from Mrs. Mueller. This student is always trying her hardest. She is improving in so many ways, plus she is always helping others. This is Kaylee Yowie. Come on up, Kaylee. These are our ABC winners for the month of January. Let's give them a round of applause. You may get a piece of candy. You get a pack of candy now. Except for Colton, he already got some. Okay, thank you. Jody, let me go back to you. Thank you for covering me that. Next is only for second graders. Once you get into second grade, you start to get letter grades like A's, B's, C's, D's, and we don't ever want an F. But sometimes we have that grade. And so these students raised at least one grade without dropping any other grades. And that's one goes to Cara Anders. Come on up, Cara. Hadley Evans. Jolene Gaines. Bailey Guston. Jake Oda. Saiga Selly. And Jeremiah Schrader. Let's give it up for our On the Right Track winners. Great job. You may get candy if you haven't already, and then you can go back to your seats, okay? Now for the Charlie Brown Awards. This takes a lot of thought and process for these teachers. So when we do the Charlie Brown Awards, these are how they got nominated. So there were nominations from every teacher that, like a regular classroom teacher. So Mrs. Clark, Mrs. Fry, Mrs. Ridout, Mrs. Royer, Mrs. Newton, Mrs. Irwin, and Mrs. Schmitz. Okay, they're the ones that nominated these students. And to get nominated, you have to show outstanding effort academically and behaviorally. It means like following those 5 R's. Demonstrate good sportsmanship in the classroom and on the playground. When we don't win or we don't get something, we still show that we're still happy. Show outstanding achievement and citizenship. Be respectful and courteous. A lot of those R's. Be responsible and obedient to school rules. So you never know what your teacher's seeing and what they're paying attention to, so you always have to be on your best behavior. Now, this one we're going to start with is Mrs. Clark. So Mrs. Clark, come on up. There you go. And you want to just read that?
This student has a way of easily brightening anyone's day with his or her smile and sense of humor. This individual is definitely not afraid to speak his or her mind. He or she has a very optimistic personality and is very lighthearted. This student rarely lets anything bother him or her. This individual's vibe is a blessing to have in my classroom. This student is a great role model for all his or her classmates. This student is also a very hard worker academically. He or she has caught on quickly to many concepts this year and is not afraid to ask for help. He or she can follow 2-step directions efficiently without any reminders. This individual has mastered writing his or her first name, and their fine motor skills have improved tremendously. In addition, this student has mastered identifying and writing letters 0 through 10. I'm excited to see where the rest of this year takes this student. I'm proud to nominate Bethlehem Gant. This card, here's what it was.
Next up is Mrs. Fry.
This student is being nominated for the Charlie Brown Citizenship Award because he or she is an outstanding student. He or she always has their eyes on the teacher and waits for directions. I'm always commenting on how this student is showing that he or she is ready to learn. This person works hard and always does their best. This student takes their time when completing work, making sure it is done well and right. This student is always first to name the red words on the blue carpet. I enjoy working with this student because he or she truly loves to learn. This student soaks in all that I have to say and puts it to practice. He or she never gives up. The student I am choosing is always willing to help or participate in class. Not only that, but he or she is a great classmate and friend by always wanting to help his or her peers, playing nicely with them, and modeling good behavior. He or she is truly one of Bradford's best. If you watch us walking down the hall, he or she is always walking hips and lips. No matter what is going on, if others are talking or not on track, I can always count on this student to be paying attention. For all of these reasons and more, I would like to nominate Raina Sherman for the Charlie Brown Citizenship Award. Keep up the amazing work. I am so proud of you.
Next up is Mrs. Ridow.
All right, so he or she has great behavior. He or she has already earned over 170 dojo points this school year. He or she is attentive and listens to directions. He or she does what he or she is asked to do. He or she raises his or her hand for questions, talks when it's appropriate, and is friendly to all his and her classmates. He or her makes sure to keep his or her supplies organized and prepared for anything that we are working on. Due to his or her hard work ethic and great Bradford Railroader behavior in the classroom, I would like to nominate Gage Selly for the Charlie Brown Citizenship Award.
Next up is Mrs. Newton.
This student is very hardworking and always tries his or her best. He or she tries to be a good leader in the hallways and is respectful to his or her peers and teachers. They are always kind to others, and I can always count on them to follow directions the first time they are asked. This student has worked incredibly hard to raise scores and become a stronger reader, and I am very proud of his or her accomplishments. He or she always tries to be a good friend and help others when needed. They are responsible and dependable because I can always count on them to help clean up our classroom or help a friend clean up a mess. This student never hesitates to do what is right, even when no one is watching. He or she is a great example of positive citizenship qualities that should be admired by others. He or she truly exemplifies the characteristics of a good Charlie Brown. I would like to nominate Alyssa Oda for the Charlie Brown Award.
Next up is Mrs. Royer.
This student is a respectful and responsible student. He or she listens carefully, follows directions, and always participates. He or she is prepared for class and takes his or her time to complete each assignment, never rushing to finish. He or she always tries his or her hardest and strives to learn new things each day. He or she treats everyone kindly and uses great manners. The one thing I admire about him or her is his or her resilience. He or she is a sensitive child and sometimes finds change and new situations very intimidating. However, he or she has made and continues to make great strides in overcoming those challenges and has a willingness to try and try again. I know with his or her determination, perseverance, and positive attitude, he or she will reach any goal he or she sets. Keep up the great work. I would like to nominate Aurora Lear for the Charlie Brown Citizenship Award.
Next up is Mrs. Irwin, second grade.
This Charlie Brown's kind, caring, and friendly character makes them an excellent role model for other classmates. We can always count on them to make good choices in all parts of the school day. Even on the playground, this Charlie Brown demonstrates excellent role model behavior by always showing their best sportsmanship and willingness to help others. This Charlie Brown strives for excellence in all that they do. They have a strong desire to get better at reading, go to gym, and eat fried chicken. They never give up and always push to get better at whatever they are working on. When faced with a challenge, they tackle it head on and they don't complain. This Charlie Brown is a pleasure to have in class, and I have no doubt that they will make an excellent member of the Army when they are older. I look forward to seeing the many gains they make over the course of this next semester. Keep up the great work. I would like to nominate Killian for the Charlie Brown Citizenship Award.
Next up is Mrs. Schmitz. As you can see, we've got a lot of great students here at Bradford, and it was a hard decision to decide who was going to get it, but let's see what Mrs. Schmitz now says about her nominee.
This student is a very kind and considerate student. He or she is always looking out for other people and their feelings. He or she is a very hard worker and is willing to keep working until she figures it out. He or she willingly accepts help with math in order to understand our math concepts. He or she can be goofy at times, but when he or she is only trying to make you laugh. He or she loves to make people laugh and is always making sure that everyone around him or her is happy. He or she goes out of his or her way to make sure that other students are smiling when they are sad. He or she is a great friend to have. He or she has his or her work out and ready to go every time and is very responsible when it comes to his or her supplies and getting her work done. When asked what he or she wants to be when they grow up, he or she said they want to be a dentist. He or she displays all the characteristics of a good Charlie Brown. Keep up the good work. I nominate Brenly Gant for the Charlie Brown Citizenship Award.
Now, I would like to say these are our nominees. So it's like being in the Academy Awards and you're the Grammy Awards and you get the nominees for what they've done so great. And so the envelope says the winner is, or the trophy says, the winner is Raina Sherman. Come on up, Raina. They all did an outstanding job. We have great students here at Bradford. Even if you didn't get something this time, strive to be your best because you don't know what teachers are watching and paying attention to. If you did not get candy, my nominees, please make sure you take some candy. And this concludes our ceremony for today. Have a great day.